Welcome back, you guys. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time it is, wherever you are in the world. This is your safe space, a place where you do not have to be perfect. We just want you to be authentic. Come as you are. Whatever is going on in your mind, whatever thoughts you may have, it is all welcome here. Today, I just want to talk about experience. You know, the human experience is, for lack of better words, extremely wild, And I've always been that type of person that I never would take the time to try to understand why something happened in my life. I was just quick to, feed into whatever negative emotion attached to the situation. So, like, if I would go through something, I would just be even harder on myself, for thinking I should have known better, wondering how I could have avoided it. Replaying the situation in my head over and over, trying to think of what I could have did differently. No matter how long ago it may have happened, whether it was traumatic, something out of my control, I used to let experiences really weigh on me in a sense where it would just take over my mental. It would send me into a depression. It would just make me feel really bad about myself because I just couldn't understand why I had to go through what I went through. And I seen a quote the other day, and it said, "Everything in life is a win when the goal is experience." And that really stuck with me. That really did something to me. I'm going to say it again. It said, everything in life is a win when the goal is experience. And I had to take a step back and really reflect. And I was like, it's so cliche, but it's so true. If you really think about it, life would be so boring if everybody's life was the same. If everybody woke up feeling amazing every single day, no interest in learning, nothing that they're working on, nothing that they're trying to build, just feeling amazing and positive every single day. Everything in life is just peachy keen 24/7. Like, life would get really boring because there's nothing to learn from. There's nothing to experience, right? Because you've already experienced it all. You're at that point where you're just so content. And, the goal in life is peace, of course. Everybody in life wants to live a peaceful life. And, people don't wake up and just want to stress out or be sad or be unhappy or have anxiety, but that's a part of the human experience. We have to experience the lows to even embrace the highs. We were put here to grow, to evolve. And if there's no growth or evolvement, then you're stuck in the same place. And who wants to be stuck, right? So I had to really take that quote I seen and really think about how I could utilize it to my life and how I could just gain from it, from reading that. The more you think about it, it kind of starts to shift your mindset. And I try to read that quote every day, especially if I'm faced with like any type of obstacles or adversity. I really try to think, this is all a part of life. It's all a part of life. A lot of the things that we stress out about or that we worry about or that we carry with us is things that we're not even in our control. And then we start to self-destruct when we feel like, we can't go back and change what happened. We start to think about, oh, well, I wonder what it would have been if this would have happened. But that does nothing but dig us deeper and deeper into that hole of depression, because we're just constantly thinking about the what ifs. And it takes away from the present. It takes away from the bigger picture surrounding that experience. Like, let me give you an example. A few things in my personal life. I used to have an issue with heartbreak, whether it be friendship, relationship, and it's something I'm still working through, but I now feel like if I experience any type of heartbreak with a connection with somebody now, because I've been, working on myself in a lot of ways, I feel like if I experience that now, I'm able to handle it with a different mindset. I'm able to handle it better than I have in the past. I realize my life's not going to end just because that person no longer is in my life. There could have been a reason why things didn't progress with that person. There's a reason for everything. So it's like I just have a different outlook on how to handle to heartbreak. Of course I'm human, so I'm still going to have certain emotions, but I'm just able to navigate through it better in a healthier way. And not be stuck in that victim mindset, or not be stuck in that why me, and switch it to, okay, what was the lesson in this? What can I learn from this? What can I take from this and be able to move forward? How can it help me grow? And so that's an example. Another example, I'm about to get a little personal, y'all, okay? I experienced a really traumatic car accident last year. I was driving, and it really took a toll on me mentally. There was just a lot of different factors that played into it, and I carried this it's completely my fault mentality, which has really, just made me look at myself in a negative light, made me feel like I was a terrible person. And I just blamed myself wholeheartedly for the entire situation. And it really set me back mentally. But in the same breath, it also, I feel like, was that turning point to really start working on my mental, to really start working on getting a relationship with God, and just to have a better mindset, because I was taking myself through this really deep negative rabbit hole that I knew if I continued to go that route, it would be so hard and exhausting and draining to pull myself back up. So I refused to let myself fall too hard. But once I noticed it, I said, you know what? Something's got to change. It's already happened. I had to look at it as a part of my testimony. I had to look at it as, okay, God is trying to wake me up somehow. And even though it's not something I wanted to experience, I had to, in order for God to be like, hey, I need you to wake up. I need you to refocus. And something I've actually heard from a sermon from Pastor Mike Jr. Shout outs to him. Love him. He was talking about one sermon. He was talking about divine interruption, right? and how sometimes, and also too, let me see, sometimes God will send divine interruptions in your life to get you to get back on the right track. And that makes so much sense. It makes so much sense. Because that's just like, your mom and you being as a child, like, she gonna tell you over and over again, that stove is hot. The stove is hot. Don't touch it. The stove is hot. Don't touch it. But as a kid, you never really learn until you're actually in it. And that also, of course, goes into adulthood. But once your curiosity gets the best of you. This is just, an example. And you put your hand on that stove and it burns you. And she was like, see, I told you over and over again not to touch the stove, but you didn't learn your lesson. So now you have to get hurt. You have to get burned a little bit so you can know to never do it again. Experience. It's all about experience. And I'm really, in this season of healing, I'm really utilizing it being experience. I'm really utilizing it as a tool to really help me get a better understanding of life, get a better understanding of my purpose, so that when I'm faced with something, I can really just have a whole different mindset. I'm really focused on my growth, y'all. Like, I'm really focused on healing parts of me that just never had a chance to. Healing parts of me that never had the space to question, to think differently. My mind has always been focused on the negative and the woe is me type of mentality and, just really depressing, dark things. And it's like, I'm choosing to let that have power over me when I can flip it and have power over the situation. I know I can't control what happens necessarily, but I control how I react to it. I control how I can learn from it and grow from it. We have to start really embracing life's experiences because it's all for our individual purposes in life. You can't have a test without a testimony. I said that backwards. You cannot have a testimony without tests. You feel me? So we just have to really start embracing what we go through. No, do we deserve to go through a lot of the stuff that we go through? No. We don't deserve to be depressed. We don't deserve to go through traumatic things. We don't deserve to live in sadness. Yes, it's a part of life, but it's not somewhere we have to live. So if you are listening to this and you have faced things in your life, or you might be facing something now, I want you this week to just think about whatever you're going through or what you've gone through. How can it help you grow? How can you take the situation and look at it from a different perspective and say, what did this try to teach me? What can I do with what I've learned from this? And how can I make it be a part of the bigger picture? How can I become a better version of myself with what I've experienced? And I could really talk a lot more about it, but I want to spit off just a few affirmations that you can take with you moving forward. We are going to choose to let our experiences be our greatest teachers. Because that's literally what an experience does. It teaches you. It teaches you who you are. It teaches you, it teaches you about just yourself and how you handle things. And if that's something that makes you uncomfortable, or if it's something that's not working for you, it's time to shift that mindset. Okay, so we are going to let experiences be our greatest teachers. Experience is going to hurt, but we don't have to carry that pain for the rest of our lives. There is another side to your experiences. There's the bad side, and then there's the revealing side, which can lead to the healing side, So I just want us all to start looking at experiences as something that can help us, something that can turn us into better people. Everything in life is a win when the goal is experience. If you're going to experience things whether you try to avoid them or not, because that's just a part of it. So no matter how much isolation you put yourself in, no matter who you try to, stay away from, no matter how much you pour into yourself, you're going to experience something in life. We're all curious beings. And curiosity, what do they say? What was I saying? Curiosity can kill the cat, which I don't necessarily agree with that. Because, it can take you to a place that you shouldn't be in. It can take you to a place of low vibrations, but it doesn't have to kill you necessarily. But then again, it could kill a different version of you. Oh, wow. See, that's a whole nother topic. Goodness. But y'all, anyway, let's just start using experiences as a tool to really help us get through this thing called life. Because if we continue to let our experiences have power over us, we're going to always fall short of the fight, We have to learn how to take back control of our mindset, our way of thinking. Just because someone might think one way doesn't mean that it's right. Everybody has their own outlook, but the main goal is to just continue to evolve, continue to learn, continue to self-reflect. That's the whole point. That is the entire point. Let's take a deep breath and just digest all of that. So hands on your chest. Inhale. Exhale. I choose to let what I experience be my greatest teacher. I choose to use experiences in life as a tool to help make me become a better version of myself. I choose to let experiences help me grow instead of keep me stagnant. Thank y'all for listening. Thank y'all for tuning in. I appreciate this space, so I hope somebody else does. Do not let anybody steal your smile or your joy this week. I need you to pinky promise me that. And I will see y'all back in the safe space.